You don't owe anyone an explanation. I think as people, we always feel like that we need to explain ourselves about every single thing that we do, every action that we take. And I'm not talking about actions that hurt or affect another person or yourself, but I'm just talking about basic boundaries, respecting your own time, saying no without any explanations. I just think we're explaining ourselves when we really don't need to. We weren't born on this earth to explain everything that we do, to explain why we have these thoughts, why we do these things, why we make these decisions. If you tell your friend that you don't want to go somewhere, or that you want to let them know that they've hurt you in some way, and they're just coming with you with pure manipulation, gaslighting, and they're only focusing on your reaction rather than the actual cause of the problem, and what caused you to say those things, and they're still looking for that explanation. It's things like that where we need to realize that we really do not need to explain ourselves. If we say no to something, whether we don't want to, we don't feel like it, we're tired, we have something else, we're busy, there doesn't even need to be a reason. I think we always try to look for a reason in things, for our actions to explain why we make these decisions. But maybe sometimes there doesn't need to be a reason. Maybe sometimes there doesn't need to be an explanation. Most of the time there doesn't need to be an explanation if you're doing something that is not affecting any other human being. Because obviously if you wrong someone, you should explain your part. If you get confronted, obviously, either way you should explain. Not that there should be an excuse to hurt another human being. But whenever it happens, there needs to be some sort of explanation on your part. But if it's something that you are doing out of your sole free human right, you don't need to explain that. You don't need to go into detail why you're not feeling like you want to go to this thing, or this gathering, or you don't want to hang out, or you're busy, or you haven't seen your friends in a long time, but there are more important things in your life, and certain sacrifices need to be made, and not everyone will understand that. And unfortunately, not everyone will get that. Regardless if you are probably one of the most understanding people to walk on this earth, regardless if you're kind, regardless if you're always forgiving, and you don't really make problems with people unless it's something that is important, and unless it's something that you care about, and something that needs to be said. And I'm describing myself here. I am a deeply forgiving person. I'm a deeply understanding person. I try to understand people on a deeper level, and I am an understanding being. Also, I just like to be understanding. I just like to, I don't know, just like try to understand why people do what they do. Their views, their opinions. Try to get to know them better. And I think being an understanding person kind of I don't know how to describe it. I feel like when you're a highly understanding person, that makes you more susceptible to people not understanding you because you are so understanding, if that makes sense. Like I've realized, even like when other people say it, they say I'm such an understanding person, but for some reason I'm not receiving that same understanding from other people, even if I haven't done anything to them. For some reason, they just can't understand me as a person the same way that I understand them. And obviously it's sad, but it's not something you can control. But at the same time, you don't owe anyone an explanation, first of all. You know, the harsh truth, the harsh reality is that I feel like the more understanding you are as a person, the less people understand you, because you are on such a high level of understanding that not everyone will understand you the way that you deserve to be understood. But I mean, you that's with everything in life, you know, not everyone will understand you, and even your closest friends, even your family members, even people that are related to you in some way, there most likely will be a time where those same people will turn their backs against you. And I don't know, just try to find a way to look for a problem, try to make a problem, when all you do is set boundaries and let them know their place as a person, and actually showing them that, hey, there needs to be some sort of respect. You need to, like, I'm setting these boundaries because, one, I care about this relationship, I care about this friendship, I care about this thing that we have. So don't take this personally. It's not something to be angry at. But because I want to make sure that I have boundaries, especially in my friendships, especially in my relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean, like, obviously it feels weird to say friendships when you have a relationship with people that is like a friendship, but like they're related to you as well in some way, not like your siblings, but I mean like part of your family tree type vibe, that's what I'm talking about. So when I say relationships, guys, first of all, like, I don't even feel like I need to point this out, but like, by the way, there's no relationships for me right now, especially if it's not, in the halal way, that's not for this moment. So when I say relationships, I don't mean the other gender, by the way. I mean girls, okay? Like friendships. But it feels weird to say friendships because they're related to me, so I call it relationships. And I just feel like the minute you say relationships, people just instantly refer it to as romantical and stuff like that, like forgetting that there is other relationships that you could have that is not romantical. Relatives, siblings, any, all of that jazz. You see, I didn't even need to explain that, but yeah, I didn't even need to go in depth, but I just wanted to clarify that in case people were wondering, why does she keep saying relationships? I just don't mean it in that way. But yeah, I just feel like for most of my life, I was just so used to having to explain myself, because I had to do that for most of my existence, is explaining myself and over explaining myself so people would believe me, so they could have this, I don't know, it's like a power struggle almost, like when I used to step into that people pleasing tendency, which is to over explain myself and just not saying no Also, not not being able to say no without there being any explanations to it or any other information added to it, when really all you need is a no, and that's it. uh, you don't need to explain yourself. If you don't like something, if you are uncomfortable, if you have boundaries and you want to set them with people and make them known, there is no reason why they should ask for an explanation or a reason for that. And, I feel like some of you might relate to me, especially people that were a people pleaser, or are trying to overcome being a people pleaser and trying to get out of that habit. You can understand when I say that, like, sometimes I be catching myself over explaining or just blabbering, just full on waffling in my words, because I was so used to having to over explain myself because people weren't believing me, people weren't trusting me, regardless if they had any evidence or not, which they didn't. The most thing I praise myself in is loyalty and trust. And I hate liars. I absolutely despise people that lie. And obviously I'm not going to say that I'm a perfect human being or like I'm always truthful, but I'm not a liar. So when I get caught out on something that I'm not even that, because people can't accept a no, and I just tell them very vague reasons, because one, I don't even need to say those vague reasons, because I don't even owe anyone an explanation, first of all, if I say no to something, or if I don't want to go to something, or if I've set a boundary. I don't need to explain myself. I don't even need, there doesn't even need to be any vagueness as well. So the fact that I still get called, or the people think that way, is just beyond me, despite them having no evidence whatsoever of me lying. Like, why would I lie? If I don't want to go somewhere, I'm gonna say I don't want to go. It doesn't matter to me. Why is that something that I should be ashamed of? First of all, why is that something so out of line? Is that something immoral to say, that you don't want to go somewhere? Or that, you're prioritizing your mental health, or that you haven't had any sleep, or that whatever reason. Is it so immoral to say no to something, especially when you have the right? You have the right as a human being to set boundaries and to say no, because that's what makes people respect you. Obviously, you can't control if people respect you or not, despite you having boundaries, but at least you show them their place in your life. At least it shows them how much you respect yourself as well, to set those boundaries and to tell people not to cross them. Otherwise, this friendship or relationship will not continue. So the fact that people still stoop to that level, after you literally just simply setting boundaries, simple and plain, and them still asking for a response, or questioning your vague responses, or your no explanations. They're questioning it. Like I did us be in those situations where I feel like that I'm getting interrogated, and that I'm in a Sherlock Holmes detective undercover interrogation. Like, it gets to that point where sometimes I'm made to feel like that I'm a criminal just for saying no and having no explanations, or not going somewhere. And when people ask me, why are you not coming? And me just responding to them, I can't go. You can't control what people will react, when you set boundaries, even if you say it in the most polite way. Some people are genuinely just emotionally immature. They don't get it. They don't understand. They don't have that emotional capacity that you do, or that a human being should have, to actually respect and understand your feelings and the fact that you have the right as a being to set those boundaries in the first place. Some people just don't have that. Some people weren't taught, some people just don't get it. But it's not an excuse, obviously. People should try to understand you. We do have a sense of control. We're not limited to acting a certain way, by the way. We weren't put on this earth to just act in one way, to just act however we please and have no control over that. No, we have control. We have been given free will to make choices in our life. And it's the choices that we make that define who we are as people. So if people still continue to disrespect you after you have set boundaries and after you made it clear to them that they upset you in any way, or that what they did had a negative effect on you, that is a choice that they're making. Despite even if you're the total opposite of that, even if you're the most understanding, caring, kind, compassionate, empathetic person, if people make that choice to continue to disrespect you, I promise you they're not worth it. Because, like I said, we have free will. We aren't limited to acting or to choosing a certain path. People think that, I had this childhood. I had this negative thing happen in my life. I've had traumas in my life. Therefore, I'm going to traumatize people. Therefore, I'm going to just act like this bitter, know-it-all, disrespectful, being. Just because I've dealt with this, and that. But people have dealt with far worse, yet you wouldn't even suspect that from them, from their character, from how bright and how empowering and how positive their energy is. Some people like that, with the most amazing characters, probably would have dealt with the most darkest, deepest, tragic traumas that you and I wouldn't even expect that from them, or detect that from them based on their character. But that is a choice. They chose to not let their traumas and negative experiences in life define them and define their worth and define their character and define how they act or who they are as a person. And that is the right way to go about it. When you choose, it's a lot more easier to be something that you're used to your entire life, which is, you maybe say you've dealt with a traumatic event in your childhood or in your life, and you've dealt with a lot of negativity and slandering and negative self-talk and unkind words and bullying and all that, so you're going to do that to others. It's a lot harder to choose the opposite. The hardest decision that you can make is to choose the opposite, is to be kind, is to be understanding, is to communicate well, is to have that sense of understanding and respect and sympathy and compassion towards people, even if you haven't experienced that in your own life by the people around you. When people choose to be negative because they look at their life as, I had this thing happen to me, I had this negative experience, therefore I'm going to be negative. that you're taking the easy route. You're taking the easy way out, because it is so difficult to experience so much in your life: trauma, negative experiences, traumatic events, yet still choose to be understanding, kind, happy, uplifting, confident, all of those positive traits. Like I said, it is not the things that happen to us that define us, but it is the choices that we make. The choices that we make show who we truly are as people, as individuals. Because people don't look at your past. People don't look at your trauma. People don't look at what happened to you. People look at your choices, your actions, your words. People look at that. And that's how they will truly see you. Because if you're just going to live in this victim mindset of self-pity, I promise you that is the most disgusting thing ever. That is the most pitiful and embarrassing thing ever. To live in that victim mindset and not choosing to be better and to act better and to do better and to be better and to be kinder and to be a better person. I promise you, when you just complain about your life and complain about the things that have happened to you and define that or make excuses that, oh, this happened to me, so this is triggering my response, this is who I am because of this, I am like this because of what happened. No, I promise you, that is so embarrassing. People pity you for that. People don't look at you in with respect. People don't respect people that live through this victim mindset and self-pity themselves. There's nothing worse than pitying yourselves or wanting people to pity you. How more low can you stoop? How more disrespectful can you be to yourself? Forget other people, but imagine pitying yourself. But what have you done in life for you to deserve that self-pity? Do you have all your limbs? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have fresh oxygen that you can breathe? Do you not have water? Do you not have food? Do you not have a place to sleep? Are you not capable of getting yourself up and out of bed every single day? Are you not capable of walking every single day and seeing every single day? There's no reason to self-pity, because I promise you, there are people out there with so much worse, with so much less, that are living in an absolute destruction, yet they're the most grateful, humble people ever. They're so happy as well. And all they ask is for health, is to reunite with their families, is to have their parents alive, to have their siblings alive, to have fresh water. And you're out here complaining about your silly little problem. Please grow up, because this is seriously embarrassing. This doesn't make you more pious. This doesn't make you more relatable. It doesn't. You shouldn't aim to be relatable. That shouldn't be your aim in life, is to just be relatable. No. Please, just be normal. Stop pitying yourself and living through this victim mindset. Because you're not actually a victim. But actual victims don't even see themselves as victims, because they don't even want to classify themselves as that. People that have gone with true horrors and traumas in their life like the worst, the most thing that you hear out of their mouth is, do not pity me, do not feel sorry for me. Because truly there is nothing worse than someone pitying you or feeling pitied or even pitying yourself. Because that is so embarrassing and disgusting. Like real victims and people that actually have the right to label themselves as that don't even label themselves as that. So who are you? Genuinely, who are you? What have you gone through in order to label yourself as that? And why are you classifying as that? Why are you basing your experiences or what happened to you and just taking that as your whole personality and whole persona and whole character? As if you were just born this way. No. Do you think you were born in this life and you're not going to go through anything? You're not going to have struggles? You need to change your lens because, you know, when you look at it from a different perspective, like your experiences, good or bad, but especially bad, or sad experiences or negative experiences, they make you grow. They make you have patience. They make you have more endurance, more strength, more wisdom, more self-compassion, more respect. So why are you taking these negative experiences and just looking at it as a negative experience? I'm sorry, but has it not shaped you into a stronger person? Aren't you now able to experience difficult things, but having more strength each and every single time? So who do you think you are to pity yourself when those very negative experiences that you talk about and then you complain about every single day, and you don't actually do something to change, you don't actually do something to be better or to do things differently? You have no right. You genuinely have no right. If you're not gonna take this negative experience and turn it into a positive and not change something about yourself or heal your traumas or work on yourself, then you're just pathetic. You're just pathetic.